My name is Pirker. I'm from IBM, and I'm responsible for what we call the Watson and Cloud business. So the intention of this short presentation is really to explain you what is the IBM Cloud, because in the discussions with the people I quite often hear, oh, we didn't know that IBM has a cloud, yeah? And then my colleague Laszlo Boer, who is a cloud architect, will show you a lot of examples how our cloud will help you to really enhance the IoT solutions you might want to develop. Yeah? So just about IBM Cloud, yeah. So because still people asking me, what do you have? Yeah. So just now we announced our latest numbers, our latest financial numbers, and it is clear that IBM Infrastructure as a Service is the second largest infrastructure service provider in the world after Amazon, yeah? Or Watson. You might have heard about Watson. But let's start with a short video. And please, if you can start the video.
This is not a cloud. This is a car protected from storms by an insurance company that knows the weather down to the square block. This is a diamond tracked on a blockchain protected against fraud, theft, and trafficking. This is a financial transaction secure from hacks and threats others can't see. This is a patient's medical history made secure while still available to their doctor at their fingertips. This is an asteroid live streamed to millions of viewers from 220 miles above Earth. This is AI trained by experts in 20 industries, your industry.
Hello.
This is not the cloud you know. This is the IBM Cloud. Built for your business, designed for your data, secure to the core. The IBM Cloud is the cloud for enterprise. Yours.
So, here you saw already in nice pictures quite a few things which we are really providing. What I forgot in the beginning is we are very honored to be now the 100th member of the IQRF Alliance. Yeah? And you also heard from Peter Havlik before in the beginning what we are doing with IoT in Munich and so on. But what I want to show you now in one picture is what is the IBM Cloud. So first of all, you see here the cloud infrastructure. So this is what most of the cloud providers are having. It's infrastructure as a service, it's public cloud, hybrid cloud. We also have the private cloud area here, all the DevOps, so the things which you need to develop your infrastructure, where you need to develop your solutions. You saw, for example, as well, Node-RED in the beginning, so we also support the Node-RED environment completely. Yeah? We also will show you, if you're interested later on, simple Node-RED examples, how you can easily connect your IoT devices with Node-RED to the cloud and how you can then really use it for better purposes. Yeah? Then one thing which is essential, and Laszlo will tell you more about this, but it's the data. So with all your IoT devices, what data you are collecting and where you have the data, but what are you doing with the data, and do you know what is within the data? So we have here the full range of analytics on the cloud. We also heard before from Ion about this machine learning, deep learning. We have all of this here as well in the cloud with a lot of engines. Then, for sure, we have artificial intelligence. Yeah? This is Watson. I'm sure most of you heard about Watson when he was winning this game show in US a few years back, where we have now Watson in all those healthcare with cancer recognition, etc., etc., etc. So, and here is Watson for you. So this is, you also saw the chatbot in the beginning, yeah? So this chatbot is powered by Watson, yeah? And by the way, Watson is also speaking Czech language, yeah? As the only Eastern European languages at the moment, but we are working on more. So visual recognition, also some examples you saw before. It's all here, it's all for you just to use as a service on the cloud. And then on top of this, we have all those additional services. We like our complete IoT benchmark, like blockchain, like financial services, etc., etc. And then we have data centers all around the world. So we have around 50 data centers across the world. So for everybody of you who think about going international, working bigger and broader, we have data centers all over the world, and the big advantage between our cloud and other clouds is that you do not pay for the traffic which is between the data centers, because we own those lines, yeah? Or we rent those lines. So if you have a data center somewhere, if you want to have data in Japan and you have the same here in Europe, and you want to exchange the data between those data centers, this is for free. And you see it also here, the bare metal servers. The bare metal servers, this is really your hardware. This is hardware which is in our data center. So you really have to imagine when you say you go to our cloud and you say, I want to have a bare metal server, then in fact people are going there and assembling your computer, which is then really your hardware. And this bare metal server is fully cooled, it is high available, and it is by many means faster than the Amazon part and much faster than the Microsoft part. So this is what I wanted to show you, but now Laszlo will give you a much deeper insight how our cloud can enrich your IoT solutions. Please.
Thank you, Rainer. Hello, everybody. My name is Laszlo. I'm a cloud architect, so technical guy. I'm trying to explain our viewpoint on IoT because we are not touching the sensor field. We are not producing chips. We are not, well, actually it's not true, but we are not producing IoT chips. We are not working on the field infrastructure. What we are trying to do is establish a backend for developers, for companies. Sometimes we are running already existing solutions. For example, if somebody from IQRF would like to run their existing Smart Connect application based on Linux, one of our IBM data centers, we do a simple lift and shift and we just move the workload to the cloud, which means that one of the most secure data centers on the planet. This is what we did, for example, with one of the largest telecom provider in the UK. We just simply drag and drop 80,000 virtual images on VMware because it was much cheaper for them to run. We, as mentioned by Rainer, we are providing physical bare metals also. So if you have something really specific hardware-related developments, which means I'm sure that all of you know WhatsApp, the messenger. WhatsApp Messenger is still running on an old Linux kernel, and it was not feasible to move out from the IBM data center. So Facebook has to run it still on IBM infrastructure because none of the cloud providers are able to provide the old-fashioned, I'm not saying old-fashioned, but the custom physical CPUs. Everybody is doing some kind of virtualization on top of Intel, Hyper-V, Citrix, whatever they do. So the trick is that IBM realized 2-3 years ago very heavily that we have the global presence. We have the data centers. So in a data center, you can imagine that some of the data centers, we have more than 500,000 servers. So this means that we have some kind of compute power in the back. And we can really adjust for the customer needs exactly. And sometimes we just got the request that, okay, we have an IoT solution, but we need this infrastructure isolated because of the legal restrictions, because the client security. Sometimes we got the request that some part of the IoT solution should run on-premise. We are not allowed to move it to the cloud. This is also a perfect fit for the IBM use case. What I want to show you is that I discussed it yesterday with few of the developers coming from different companies that they had some experiences in the past with Watson IoT. So first of all, Thomas J. Watson was a very smart guy. He was one of the founders of IBM. This is where the name is coming from. So it's not Dr. Watson from Sherlock Holmes. It is not Watson from the old-time Windows NT. Thomas J. Watson was a real person. And to honor him, we just named this brand like Watson. So everything which is related to AI now has the Watson stamp on the head. So this is an example for a car manufacturing assembly line where we have sensors, your solutions. And actually, when somebody is working with IoT, and I'm sure that all of you are facing the same issues if you are delivering projects, it is one thing to collect the data. It is one thing to maintain the firmware or patch or upgrade or bond and smart connect, however you call it, manage the physical infrastructure. The volume of the data is heavily increasing, and we need to just grab the information. And one of my son's favorite movie is Finding Nemo, the fishes. I mean, if you have kids and if you've seen the movie, you can remember the last scene of the movie when the fishes manage to escape somehow, and then they are sitting in the bubble swimming on an ocean and finding out that they are not able to get out. So when you have lots of data, and you can ask that, okay, so what? I have the data, but do I need to really know when this robotic arm will fail, or how can I calculate the expected maintenance time? On how can I predict anything? Are we able to recognize patterns? And the good thing is that we are providing all of the, let's say AI, this is the marketing bullshit, but we have several elementary services which are able to analyze the data, recognizing patterns, predict what will happen. Based on different models, we are able to predict that the potential failure is 48.88%, and the probability of the failure is 72, whatever. To calculate that one, of course, we need to access the maintenance system, which is containing all of the maintenance records related to that infrastructure. So the power of our IoT projects or added value is that we are not only targeting the sensor traffic, providing an MQTT support and the NoSQL database or a time series database, but we really able to do something with the data. And of course, everybody knows that diagram, I'm sure, that the earliest time when you know the product failure, you save the most. So the best thing is to touch the product design phase, when you recognize why this specific element in a fridge did a lots of failure in the past several years. So what I can show you now, I have only 5 minutes left. We have a couple of solutions which are available out of the box like a solution. So we are doing PeopleCentric IoT, worker safety solutions, mounted sensors on workers in a specific working environment. And there is a guy who can monitor and getting alerts for different scenarios. If something happening which is endangering the workers, he will get a notification. It sounds simple, but sometimes we need to collect and analyze different sources, not only the sensor data. The other interesting project is with Whirlpool. The company, they are now equipping the fridges with sensors, and they are automatically, the goal is how to extend the length of a warranty in a smart way to be on a safe side and to increase the customer satisfaction. So if somebody is using in a smart way, the fridge, the smart way is that they open, recognize what's there, okay, bridge, milk, whatever, close, think, okay, I need 2 beers, 1 egg, whatever, and I remove it and closing the door. The reality is that you open, okay, what should I do? And the whole environment within the fridge will just heat up, and you close the door, your kid will come, also open. So this means that all of the environmental things in the fridge will have a different, let's say, workload. If you put a warm thing, inside, it's also decreasing the lifetime of the elements. So the idea here is that how can they report the daily usage, and based on the personalized daily usage, you will get a personalized warranty offer. This is true for vehicles, for all of the other home appliances, dishwashers, whatever you do. IoT for automotive is it's a focused area within IBM. We have an IoT center in Munich. We are working together with BMW and other car manufacturers, Honda and the Peugeot and Citroën group. So what we do here is that luckily one of the product developer guys is a Hungarian guy, so I had a long chat with him, what to tell here and what are the trends or what are the most interesting things, because all of the things are available on the website. If somebody is interested, just type Google IBM IoT for automotive and you will find very interesting things. And he mentioned that, can you imagine that 80 megabyte per sec is the data what we need to gather from a single car. So it's, if you can just calculate how big is the data what we need to somehow analyze. And there are different aspects. Of course, we are able to analyze the environmental mood of within the car. So if you are closing or we are predicting a crash, because BMW has a built-in pre-crash and after-crash analytics, it's totally independent from IBM. They are doing it based on the sensor. And all of the suspensions and movement of a car, they are predicting that something will happen. And to realize that, for example, how fast backend you need to gather the data and giving out like services. How can I, for example, expose what I know based on the car data? For example, they said that each and every car manufacturer or supplier who is providing the suspensions, they are very curious and they want to know how their suspension is performing in a BMW i8 or BMW 318 diesel Touring, whatever. But they are also providing the suspension for other type of cars. And this is really highly sensitive data because they don't want to share it with the others. So it's, on one hand, we are talking about performance and capabilities on AI, on one of the most important things, and how can we anonymize and how can we provide the security for the different sensors. So, and I'm almost finished, and I'm just trying to summarize what kind of solutions we have around the IoT, so that there are lots of service providers already consuming our AI services. The main difference is that IBM is intentionally not selling a solution. We are providing a platform for developers. And we have the backend, and we let you what you want to do. And if you just tell us, okay, I have a customer who is an agricultural customer, they want to measure the humidity for environmental space where the cows are sleeping. We have a pattern, and of course we are not selling sensors, but we can do many, many things. And there are more to come on the platform. If you log in the platform now, which is free, actually we are not asking for any credit card or time limits. To a degree, you can consume the services for free. But we are introducing new services, and because I already ran out of the time, I would like to hand over back to Rainer, who will just finish in a few words. And if you have questions related to any other thing, just come to us in our booth, and I'm more than happy to answer.
Thank you very much, Laszlo. Very interesting. And as I said before, so please be invited to come and talk to us later. We can show you very simple examples how you can easily connect your devices to the cloud and then use the cloud to analyze the data and put it into databases, etc., etc. I have already the red 00 here, but I need to tell you one story because I think this is really a very cool story. How companies, and you mentioned it, Peugeot, Citroën, yeah? How a company who is a car seller is starting to use IoT and data to start completely new businesses and sell data and start a new business. Yeah? Peugeot is now putting into their new cars around 100 sensors or so, and they are collecting the data from these sensors via the IBM Cloud. It comes then into our IBM Cloud, and this data is then anonymized and so processed internally, and then via an API economy, so via APIs, the data is provided to the developer community, and everybody can register there and can try and see, and they are providing those APIs to insurances, to other companies, etc. Those companies can then access the data which they are collecting from millions of cars all over the world. So now you say, okay, all good, all fine. Yeah, so logically this is interesting for insurances, for traffic jams, etc. But another thing, for example, they are selling this to weather companies. Yeah. Because if you imagine there is the Peugeots out in the field, and then all the Peugeot cars in this area, say it's -3 degrees and the wiper is on, yeah, then you know it's snowing there, yeah, or they show how much temperature they have. So you don't need to have any sensors anymore in the field. You just need to collect the data from the cars and then give it via APIs to other companies. And this is how Peugeot PSA Group is starting to make new business models by selling data which they are collecting via IoT devices. So I think just as an idea for you, what you can do on top of all your IoT solutions. Yeah? As such, I would like to thank you very much and give back to Simon. Thank you.